Okay, Kumar. So the room is almost full, and we are ready to start your presentation. So please introduce yourself, and it's yours. You can start.
Okay, my name is Kumar Shanu, and I am from India. And I have been in Formula Student as a team from 2011 to 2016. I have taken part in Formula Student UK and Formula Bharat. And for the past 4 years, I have been participating in Formula Bharat for cost judging events. Okay, uh, shall we go ahead?
Yes.
Okay. So, first thing we discuss in cost event, like why the cost is important. Okay, and that is the first question that we ask. Okay, now I'll try to make this a bit interactive. Okay, and a lot of you might have participated in Formula Student Russia a couple of months back. So from there, you might have known me. Okay. And like in between, if you have any questions, just let me know. Okay. And then I will try to answer. Does that make sense? Is everybody clear?
Yes.
Okay. So I hope it is clear. Yeah. So, first thing, why the cost is important? Because it gives a better value and affordability. Okay, and that is the main thing. So, as an engineer, we need to reduce cost. Okay, it might be from different methods like changing the material, changing the manufacturing process, but we should fulfill the requirement within the lowest cost so that we can give better value and affordability to our customers. Second reason is we it differentiates us from the competitors. So let's say, for example, if you are competing against some different person or some different company, if you provide the same services in lower cost, it will or you will be favored. Okay. So if you have known about the cost and manufacturing at Formula Student events, they carry around 75 to 100 points. Okay. And why this cost is important? Okay. From a point perspective, okay, it is easy to score. Okay. So, there is not a lot of technical depth in it. So you can score very easily in this event. Second is it takes lesser time, lesser manpower, and lesser tools. That means you don't require a particular software or you don't require any machinery to do this. Okay. And third is it is fairly easy to understand the cost perspective of a machine of your car. Okay. And fourth is it can be worked upon throughout the year. It doesn't mean that you have to start the cost event 2 weeks or 3 weeks before the event. Like most of the team, they do it and it's a wrong practice. It has to be started when you start designing the car and then throughout you can add your inputs. Does that make sense? So in this presentation, I will cover these topics. Yeah. So first is why cost event? Like what is the necessity of it in an industrial setup? Okay. Then we will discuss in brief the rules and documentations. Then cost tools like we have CBOM tool and DBOM tool available online with which we compile these two documents. Then cost explanation file, supporting material files, cost understanding, and again what happens on the day of cost event. what are the do's and what are the don'ts for the event, so that you keep that in mind, then you can perform better on the day of the event. So again, why cost event? Okay, so can somebody give me why we have this cost event in formula student? What is the importance of it? Can somebody give me an answer?
Подойди сюда. Just a second.
Yeah.
Uh, Cost even is important because if we can do cheaper machine but the same in other competitions, it's better for us.
Mhm. Yes. Okay. So why we need this cost event is, first we have to understand the components of a vehicle cost wise. Okay. So whenever we make a bill of material, it shows what are the costs involved in it. Okay. It gives us the full components that are being used. Okay. And what is the exact detail. Okay. Second is the manufacturing cost, because I mentioned earlier that affordability is an issue for most of the customers. So if you can reduce the cost, that means your customer will prefer you. So that's why in manufacturing cost, we calculate cost of each and every component. We need an understanding of each and every process cost as well. Okay. So if you divide cost, okay, first cost is fixed cost, okay, which is kind of fixed, you cannot change it. Second is the variable cost. Okay, so this cost event gives you an idea what are the type of cost or cost overheads that you can encounter, okay, and how you can optimize it. It will also help you to optimize your budget with next car. Okay. The third would be the industrial experience, because this is how the industry works. They always try to reduce the cost, okay, and they do it via budgeting, operational planning, and following some standard practices. Okay, so this cost event gives you an idea what are the standard practices followed in the industry, okay, and how you can plan this. Then this cost event gives you the knowledge of manufacturing processes. Then it will help you to decide what is the correct order of the manufacturing process. So let's say, for example, for a chassis, you first do welding and then do the heat treatment. So this cost event will give the idea why we are doing welding first and then do the heat treatment. Okay. Why not the other way around? Second is it will help you to optimize for cost and quality. Third, it would enhance the manufacturing capability and innovation. Okay. Now again, next, what we do and why we have cost event is it is on you to decide whether you want a prototype manufacturing or a mass manufacturing. How will you select the process? How will you calculate the lead time and overhead costs? Okay. And what are the operational and efficiency issues in prototype and mass manufacturing? Because your car currently it's a prototype car. It's not a mass manufactured car. But there are certain components which is used on the car. They are mass manufactured, like fasteners, nuts, bolts. So we need to understand how we take a decision whether to make a prototype car or mass manufacture car. And at last, we have to make a decision whether we want to make it ourselves and then we want to buy it from outside. So these are the reasons why we are having this cost event. Now, in cost event, first you have a bill of material section. Okay. Then you have cost explanation section. Okay. And at last you have a special case scenario. Okay. So I think you must have gone through the rule book. Okay. So I'm just going here brief and I will not be going in detail how to create a bomb. I think you might know it. Okay. So bill of material is all the components which is present in the car. D-bomb is detailed bill of material and it has to be made for a specific system written in the rule book. Okay, here we have to provide bill of material, like the list of material along with the process how you have made it. In C-bomb, you need to put all the components with the process and the cost for each process. Now, this cost, you need to calculate this cost on the basis of certain assumptions or the industrial data, and these information should be explained in cost explanation file. Okay, and after that, you need to put some supporting documents if you have made any assumptions. Okay, there has to be proof, and then this needs to be put in supporting documents. This supporting documents will have the exploded view, okay, or the CAD of the drawing of each and every component that we have used. Okay. So next part is cost understanding. Okay. So what kind of questions do we ask in cost understanding and why this is important? We will discuss it. Okay. So in cost understanding, it is like you have to understand how the cost is calculated. So if you talk about a part, okay, it starts from the planning phase where you plan, then you go for a prototype manufacture, then you decide what is the market demand, okay, and then you decide on the process again. Now it goes into mass manufacturing. Okay. And then on top of that, you need to mitigate some risks. Okay. The risk might be quality wise risk, financial risk, planning risk, operational risks, vendor risk, supplier risk. So there are a lot of risks involved. So you have to mitigate that risk as well. Okay. And then you have to introduce that part to the plant. Okay. And then it will go to mass manufacture, then packaging, and then transport. So this is the whole workflow of how the parts are manufactured and how they reach the destination. Okay. So in the cost understanding, you might expect these questions. Okay. So when I was judging Formula Student Russia, okay, I think you were lacking in this section. So I think you need to focus more on this section. Okay. So first you need to create a list of questions which might be asked and their answers. So let's say for example, what is the difference between prototype and mass manufacturing? It's a very basic question, okay, and you have to answer yourself on the basis of these criterias. Like financially, what is the difference between prototype and mass manufacturing? Development wise, development means development time wise. Then What are the changes in parts and tolerances? What is the volume based processes? Like if you are having a prototype manufacturing, you might have a different process. If you have a mass manufacturing, you can have a different process. What is the quality control? So the best way to approach the cost understanding is you make a list of all the questions, then you make answers to it. You prepare answers for it, and then you put it in form of presentations. Okay. Now, if it is asked from you, okay, you can take the judges to that presentation and then you can walk them through in detail with numbers. So let's say, for example, if somebody asks what is prototype and mass manufacturing, you can take an example of a component in your car. Okay. You can judge like how you have manufactured because it's a prototype. So you have to decide how you have to show how you have manufactured it. Okay. And then you via presentation you can show them if you are going for mass manufacturing what you will do financially, what you will do, tolerances, volume, quality control, and even factory setup and supply chain. So this has to be presented in form of you can have a presentation or you can have some printed infographic which you can present in front of the judges. So this is a readiness that you have to work on. Okay. Second is resource and cost planning. Okay. So for a part or production, there are three main constraints. First is time, second is cost, and third is scope or quality. So obviously, as a mass manufacturer, you have to balance between the above. Okay, the judges might ask question like situational basis. Let's say, for example, they will give you a situation. Okay, and then they will ask you what would be strategy or what you will do. Okay. They can also ask how you will plan your resources or how you are planning your cost. Okay. And at the end, how will you identify the risks and mitigate the risks? Okay. I will take one example. Have you heard about PFMEA, process failure mode effect analysis? Uh, are you aware? Just raise your hands if you are aware of PFMEA.
Sorry, Kumar, can you repeat the question?
So, are you aware of PFMEA, process failure mode effect analysis? So, it's a term in manufacturing. Okay. Anybody aware about this PFMEA?
Seems like not really.
Ah, okay. So, I will tell you in brief what it does, okay, and how it mitigates the risk. So PFMEA is a document where you identify the risk. Let's say, for example, in a manufacturing process, what can go wrong? You identify it in the beginning, then you try to correct it. So these are the examples how you mitigate the risk. So let's say, for example, in machining, okay, a person can put incorrect material in the machine. Okay, it can be, it is a failure. Okay, so in document, you write how will you mitigate it in advance. So you may put a sensor which detects the material and gives the error. This is just an example. Okay. So with these steps, you mitigate the risk. You have to show the judges how you can do this planning and how you can mitigate the risk. Second is how will you uh, do the production risk management? Like how will you do the production planning? So Gantt chart is a very good example. It shows the timeline. If you Google this Gantt chart, you will know how you make a workflow and how you plan each and everything. Okay. So the questions will be asked on how you have made the Gantt chart. Okay. And what if something goes wrong? How will you correct it? Okay. Now, there are some other risks, like supply chain management risks, or, or the technical risks, like there is a new technology which can threaten your product. So, we will ask questions how you will mitigate it. And if your product is not working, how you can make a product market exit strategy, like you want to shut off your company, okay, your manufacturing company. How will you do? Okay, so these questions, then again, make or buy decisions, then environmental effects, and financial planning and data analysis. Okay, so you can focus, you can search these questions, okay, and come up with a presentation about each question that you can think of. Okay, answer it properly. Maybe you can print it on paper, okay, as a chart and show it to the judges when they ask these questions, and take examples from the car to prove your cost understanding. So for each question, okay, just take components of the car and try to answer this. This is a very good practice. And then finally, we have okay. So when I was in the event, okay, um, I try to set up a session, set up proper timings, like how much time you should devote to each section. Okay. So obviously there will be some do, okay, and these are more kind of behavioral questions, okay, or behavioral traits which you need to follow. Okay. So first is bring at least two hard copy and soft copies of the cost report. So whatever the report is, you should have at least copies. Okay. Second is you should have a clear presentation and communication with the judges. Okay. Now the presenter, he needs to be there. Okay. He needs to be identified that I will be taking care of you. Okay, and he should communicate with the judges clearly on each and every topic. Okay, third is he should be well versed with the car. It means he should know in and out of car and its component. So whenever there is a question from the judge, okay, he can point out to the right answer in the document. So when I was there, I didn't find it, because when we asked the questions, you took a lot of time to identify those sections from the document. So it just kills the time and doesn't give a good impression with the judges. Okay, you can organize your reports with sticky notes or colors so that you can go through the reports very quick. Okay, and you can show the judges what they are asking for. Okay. Now we have seen few people, they have put costs in C bomb, D bomb as well. Okay, and that is not required. Cost should be there only in C bomb. Other was attach all supporting documents properly. So when we were going through the report, there were a lot of reports were missing, like the drawings or the exploded view of subsystems, their components, their manufacturing. drawings. So everything needs to be there in the supporting documents. Okay. Other is, so when the event starts, give your short introduction and the cost goals of the vehicle. Cost build a car, your goal was to reduce it by 10%, or maybe you need, your goal might be you can reduce the manufacturing time, or your goal can be you can, or you have to reduce your manufacturing planning. So you have to be very clear what is the cost goals that you are setting, and just start in the start of the event. You can give your short introduction as well as cost goals. Okay. Now, other thing was, be ready with the tools to show disassembly of the subsystems. Okay. Okay. Again, next is keep judges engaged as time is low and the content that you are showcasing is a lot more. Okay. So you have to clearly make use of this time in a better way. Okay. In most of the cases, it happened that lot of students were engaged with one judge and another judge was sitting quiet. So you have to encourage them, okay, to ask questions. Third is, the C-bomb was not in line with the vehicle itself. Okay. There were parts which were on the car and which was not mentioned in C-bomb. So you have to present those documents if you are making changes in the vehicle at the last moment. And at last, be confident and enjoy. Okay, don't be stressed out. Okay, and then don't hesitate. Okay, and certain don'ts, like use of previous year's table or content for the calculation, because we saw people either copying the report from some other team, or they have used previous year's report for the calculations part or process. So in bomb, it is a very generic mistake to leave fasteners, cable ties, paints out of the scope. So don't miss out on those small items. On the processes, hand assembly, okay, or any process, it is missing. So don't try to miss out on them. Now, surrounding the judges with the AI while presenting is not good. Okay, it was felt that the presenters were three or four in numbers, but the whole team was surrounding the judges, which is not a very good practice. Okay. Just there can be, or there should not be more than six students, and three students should cater to one judge. Okay, so that judges has clear understanding whom to ask the questions. Again, next don't is, don't get incomplete car to the judging area. Okay, because there were components on the cost report, but it was not on the car. Okay, and it will lead to deduction in points. Third is, sorry, 16. Don't say that vendor has gave you this code. Okay, so if you have bought some part and if you are writing down the cost, don't say that vendor has given this code. Better you provide the receipts. It will give the judges confidence that you are not making a guess. Then leave no space. So don't do this. Just give some space to the judges so that they can clearly move around and have a look at the car. Okay. Now limiting the approach to the car itself. So when you are talking about the cost understanding, okay, don't limit yourself to the car. You can take example from outside the car or the general. Next is, don't miss the submission deadlines. Okay. Don't stretch time Let the judges review cost reports documentations independently. Like what I felt is the people or the students they were taking a lot of time in one section. Okay, don't take if you don't know, just say don't know and then go to other section, or take a little time, try to answer, and you feel that you are not able to answer, you can go ahead and let the judges ask next question. Then don't be disrespectful to the judges. Okay, be polite, be calm, and be friendly. When at last, don't be stressed and hurry up. Like, don't panic. Okay, keep calm and enjoy the event. So I think this will be my do's and don'ts for the which I had felt in during the event. These are the do's and don'ts in the section. Okay. So any questions? Any questions, feedbacks, or suggestions?
Any questions? No? No? Okay, seems like no questions so far.
Okay. So I will be sharing this with Andre, and then you can collect it from him. Okay, and then maybe you can use this to improve yourselves. Okay.
May I share your contact email address to the teams?
Yeah, sure, you can.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And then if you have any questions, just ping me on WhatsApp or email. Okay, and I will be happy to.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your presentation. Никаких вопросов, все, двигаемся дальше, да? Мгм. Okay, so as I said,
Okay, thank
no
you.
questions so far, and big thank you to you, Kumar. I will share the presentation to the teams and to your email address. Probably there will be some questions later. And so we are ready to move further. And
Yeah,
if you have finished your presentation, we are ready to go to the Carl's part.
yes, yeah, sure.